Welcome to Scientific Spirituality with Love and Light. So in this video, we are just going to discuss about the answer for the question, who am I? Very big question, in-depth question and open-ended question. It's very hard to give a straightforward answer. It is something like we have to realize who am I. Once you realize, then most of the life's mystery will be solved automatically. But how to get the answer? Most of the religions will never give a straightaway answer. You cannot find the answer in the religion. It's a kind of small box where this question is so big. Okay. So you cannot find it in single perspective, right? In this video, we are going to explore the answer. So who am I? Who is self? A direct answer could be there is no one single version of self. There are 5 different versions of self that we have. Fake self, or we can say it is ego, or lower self, which is our mind, which is chattering all the time, right? So lower self and the self, and then higher self, also known as soul, and then divine self, God, Father, one infinite creator. So in this sections like fake self and lower self, you can call them as duo, illusional duo, because they are not real. It's like a perception related stuff. It varies. It is subjective. Based on each person's perception, this thing will vary, right? So we look at the world in our own perception. So this is not the true thing. This fake self and our ego or mind is the duo, which I call it as illusional duo. And this thing, self, higher self, this section, I call it as divine trio. This is the hierarchy from the creation. It is equivalent to the term that they use in the Christianity called Trinity. What is Trinity? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, correct? So Father, everyone agrees, God, source, whatever we say. And Holy Spirit is nothing but the soul, okay, higher self, which is the tiny fragment of God. And self is Son. So in Christianity, then they made Jesus Christ. Yes, Jesus Christ is Son of God. So do we. The only difference is he's awakened to the truth that he is Son of God, and we are not yet. Okay, so that is the only difference. He knows that he is Son of God and we don't know. It doesn't mean that we are not Son of God. Okay. So I call it like the self, higher self, and divine self. I can say it is Trinity. We'll go through that in detail. So first, let's look at that the divine trio. Let's explore the divine self, which is nothing but the God, source, one infinite creator, alpha, omega, existence. You can say whatever the name that we can give, but it is the existence. One fragment of the divine self that we can say soul or higher self. And one tiny fragment of the higher self is the self. So you can take this analogy to make it easy for you. I can say that if you take the divine self is like a sun. Sun has trillions and billions of rays, right? Sun rays. So in that one single ray, you can compare it like a soul. Okay, so that many rays are there. That one soul is like that one ray. And then now we have that ray, which is our soul or higher self. Now imagine this higher self is again another sun. So in that sun, there are again millions and trillions of rays of that. In that one single ray of that is self. Okay, in millions and trillions of rays, one single ray of the higher self or soul is as experiencing the life in this reality. Okay, what is the difference? What about the other rays of our soul? The other rays are nothing but the other frequency of our soul, the other frequency of our higher self, which is experiencing the life in different dimension, in different reality, or in different physical bodies. We are simply a single tiny fragment or one single ray of our soul. So that is a divine trio. So I hope you got it. So we are all holding the tiniest version of divine self inside us through our higher self. So the next I'll explain the illusional duo, these two guys, ego and mind. They are very friends with each other. They always work together. So how they work together? First, let me explain the self, lower self, that is the mind. So the mind is our sixth sense. That's how it operates. So it has two things, storing input and processing input. In Tamil, we call it as Siddham and Buddhi. Buddhi is brain's processing section, and Siddham is storing section, memory. So the mind constantly gets the input from this processor and the memory. The processor and memory gets the input from 5 senses. Our vision, audio, touching sense, taste, and then smell. These 5 senses are input devices. If you're a computer, these 5 senses are our input devices. These 5 input devices feed the input to the brain's memory and processing, and that will feed the input to mind. So with all this input, mind will create thoughts. These thoughts are the output of the mind. Okay, so the output will produce thoughts consistently. It will produce thought based on this input. So we can say this all together is our lower self. And then let's explore ego self. What is ego self? Lower self is real because it gets the input and process, does something. Okay, it is real. But ego self is not real. It is fake. It pretends like it is that, but it is not that. Call it as fake self because it cannot exist by its own, and it can exist only by associating itself with our original self. We can say it as fake self. There should be a reason, right? If it is there in the evolution, then that means that there should be some function for that, right? What is the function of this ego self? It will just receive the thoughts from the mind as an input, and then what it will do, it will just attach labels to each and every thought. So I like this, I don't like this, they are good, they are not bad, they are not good, and these people are good, these people I don't like that. For each and every single input that we receive from the mind, it will just attach label to that. Okay, so that is the only job that ego will do. It was needed in our evolution because we experience the life as first density and second density being like animals and all the beings. We needed that ego for the survival. Even right now, like for root chakra and sacral chakra mode. So you can just refer my consciousness series where you can connect this with that concept. So for the root chakra and sacral chakra, that's the survival mode, we needed ego. Even for the solar plexus chakra, to some extent, we need ego. Okay, so it was there for a reason. Okay, but the job is just associating the labels to each and every single thought. And then what it will do, it will just feed that thoughts along with the labels to the self. Okay, so that is ego self. Then we'll discuss our true self. What is true self will do? We can say that it is like a water. It's like it is neutral, very neutral. It doesn't have its own qualities. Water will do. Water, if you put it in the holy water, it will become the holy water. If you put it in the mud, then it will become mud, right? Like that, the true self doesn't have own color. It doesn't own any specific property. So that is our true self. That is our spirit. Let's conclude the answer. The question, who am I? Who is self? So self is a neutral, like a baby-like being who can associate either with lower self and higher self. When we associate ourselves with this ego and lower self, then we can say it is unawakened life, so materialistic life. But when we associate ourselves to our higher self, when we live the life by meeting the soul purpose, by associating ourselves with higher self, then we can say it is awakened life. So if we have self, higher self, divine self, and lower self, ego self within us, then where we can put it in the soul evolution, in hierarchy. In hierarchy, we can say that our self, that is our current spirit level, is in third density, experiencing the life through different densities. So right now we are in our soul evolution, we are in third density. In that case, our soul, which is our higher self, which is the pure consciousness, which has all the knowledge. So it's a very complicated topic to explain it directly in space-time concept, but our higher self already have experienced all the life and gained all the consciousness. It is pure consciousness which resides in sixth density. And the divine self, which is God, source, existence, which is there in the seventh density. So our soul is nearest to the divine self. Okay. So when all the souls get the pure consciousness with unconditional love, then all the souls will merge back to the source where we came from. So that is the whole purpose of life. If you're interested to explore further, you can refer Law of One, where they have explained this density concept. Often is the book, which is open source book, which is available in the internet. You can explore further if you want to know more about this. Thank you for listening to it. I'll see you in the next video.